Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Donna from rad.com, and I help take you from the classroom to the x-ray room with ease. This particular video that I'm doing today is not one that is super technical and stuff like that. I just want to bring you guys a very short story of, well, I wouldn't just do one but two of the craziest cases that I've ever had to do in x-ray, and both of them in this case are theater cases, operating theater, surgery related cases. Thankfully, the one that came first kind of prepared me for what I was gonna see next, right? And the second crazy case that I'm gonna talk about is actually the craziest one, and it's the one that I had with a couple of students that came in during that case to observe, because it was, I think it was at least one of them, their first time being in theater, right, as a student. And to me it was something else. I'm in need of an x-ray. Both being theater cases. The first case is well, it was a multiple thing that was going on. I think it was like, was it a humerus as well? No, it was a forearm and hand, right? So the patient, not too sure what was wrong with them. Clearly it was a really bad accident. Could have been like a chopping related wound. So trauma, a lot of trauma. It was an orthopedic case, and it was so weird. And it was the first time I experienced seeing this. And this, in this case, is an amputation. Now this particular amputation, mind you, the wrist was in a mess, right? It was the distal wrist, not so much the mid shaft or anything, or the forearm, but more so wrist and hand, right? The distal wrist was in a state. We had two surgeons scrubbed in, and this fun was in COVID theater. How exciting. Yeah, your COVID theater is the most annoying thing that you could go to. Not just because it's COVID and you have to be in a room where you know that there is something that you could catch, something contagious, something easily spread, right? But no. On top of that, you obviously have to wear PPEs, and that is what makes it way horrible than a normal theater case. Because you already have on your heavy leads, right? Right. And now to make matters worse, you have on your heavy leads with your PPE. So you're sweating, your back hurting, you're tired, you can't breathe well because you're in an N95 mask and your face shield, and it's so annoying. Anyway, so in that first case, there was an amputation of the person's fingers. Now, it was kind of weird because at this point I've already been working a couple of years, and I've never had to be there for an amputation, right, in any of my cases. And I have x-rayed a lot of ortho cases at this point, but no amputations, right? So I didn't even, I think what made it worse is the fact, or what made it even more of a shock, is that I didn't expect it to be an amputation. I thought I was just going to see a normal ORIF, which is an open reduction, internal fixation of the fracture. But instead, they were working at the wrist, and then they moved on to the hand, the other surgeon, and doing her thing. Then all of a sudden, I see the fingers being cut off. And I was like, wait, that's what this is? Y'all, it was so weird. Because after they cut off one, they just toss it in the bin, and obviously it's not like a normal bin. It has the proper disposable, one of those red bags. So obviously it's not just gonna go in a normal bin, right? But it's still a bin nonetheless. So it was just like all open there in the open shallow bin, and I just seen bloody fingers in there. And then another finger was added. And then another finger was added. I was like, what is going on? Now, we see blood all the time, we see stuff all the time. So that's not the crazy part. It's just the fact that, okay, those fingers are supposed to be on somebody's hand, not on the ground, like by the bin on the ground, like, you know, or in the bin on the ground. So that was weird to me. The second one was ding ding ding, another amputation, but this is the one that I went with the students. Now I knew it was gonna be an amputation I knew, I can't remember. Did I? Yeah, I feel like I knew it was going to be an amputation, but I didn't know what the amputation was until I went and saw the request card and everything, and it's an above the knee amputation, or AKA, above knee amputation. That's the medical abbreviation. Yo, I was shook. Now in this particular case, the patient had an osteosarcoma in the mid-femur or the mid-thigh, right? And y'all, that osteosarcoma was huge. It was pretty high up, maybe even higher than typical mid. So even though it was above the knee, it wasn't literally right above the knee. It was like almost, it was closer to the hip than it was to the knee. And y'all, the muscles were twitching, the nerves were jumping while they were cutting through this thing. Like imagine a whole thigh, right? They were cutting through this, and I was just like, wow, medicine is fascinating. Like I always tell myself that if I wanted to get into the science field and I was doing it all over, although because of the poor work-life balance, I always tell myself I probably wouldn't even be in the medical field anymore. But I already am, you know. But I always tell myself that if I were to do this over and I wanted to be a doctor, I would definitely want to be an orthopedic surgeon, because it's so fascinating, all the fixations, the post reductions, the surgeries and stuff. It's so cool, putting on the cast and all of that. I find that to be absolutely fascinating. But to see these people saw through and cut through and tie off arteries and all of that, like it was crazy. All the leg was literally like twitching like this and jumping, and it was so weird because remember it's really high up, you have a lot of nerves, right? You have your major femoral artery and all of that. It was just so fascinating to me. Definitely by the time they got the I don't even know what the instrument is called, but it's like a drill but with a kind of knife-like edge, so that it is about probably 1.5 to 2 inches thick to cut through the femur. By the time they do that, the rest of the tissue was like really easy to separate. Y'all, is when they pick up the leg and throw it in a bin. Because remember, they have like disposable bins with the proper bags and everything where the anatomy would go in for proper disposal. I was like, what the heck? There's a literal leg staring at me in this bin. Like, this leg belongs to a person. This leg needs to be on a person. But yours, osteosarcoma, which is bone cancer, you don't want that to spread. So, but it was absolutely fascinating and kind of like, oh my gosh. Again, I'm not like a super squirmy person or anything like that. If I see blood, if I see fractures, whether it's an open fracture or whatever, it's not gonna affect me to make me feel like sick in any way. But it really just had me like, wow, this is insane. And those two moments were two of the moments that I really had such a reaction to my normal everyday, you know, practice in radiography, that kind of thing. One other thing I could probably mention, a third story. Not really a story, but a type of fracture that also looks pretty bad are open ankle fractures, or open like tibia, fibula fractures, tib fib fractures, that where the knee is AP and the ankle, because of how it's broken and dislocated, is lateral. Yo, that looks insane in person, not necessarily in the x-ray, but in person. So those were my 3 craziest cases. I guess I've actually had quite a few x-rays of the latter. There was a point where I had like 2 or 3 of that in 1 week. MVA, motor vehicle accidents. Anyway, that was like a little story time, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I was just talking. Anyway, if you found this interesting, thanks for watching. I know it's kind of random, but I kind of wanted to share that. So yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. I'm filming some back-to-back, so yeah, y'all will see more from me soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.